Hurricane Ian not only might go down as the strongest storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, but is now considered the fourth strongest storm to ever strike the United States. With now Tropical Storm Ian, 65 miles per hour, about to exit into the eastern half of Florida and possibly reform as a Category 1 before making a second landfall in the southeast. Articles are already being released saying Hurricane Ian covers southwest Florida in water as one of the strongest ever to hit the United States. Not only that, but we have more to come. Tropical Depression 11 has already been labeled and is heading towards the United States, and in the very near future, we could see something even bigger. We're going to break this all down right here, right now. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. September 29th, 2022, 10:17 a.m. And as I'm sure most of you know, Hurricane Ian was an absolutely devastating situation for western Florida, making landfall with winds upwards of 155 miles per hour, 18 feet of storm surge in some areas, beginning its most destructive phase about 24 hours ago. As you and I speak right now, Tropical Storm Ian is at 65 mile per hour winds, 987 millibars, just about to exit back into that eastern part of Florida, back into the Atlantic Ocean, where it is now expected to possibly reform into a high-grade tropical storm or even possibly a Category 1 before making landfall, possibly in that most northern Georgia coast or the most southern coast of South Carolina. This could be as early as Friday, 2 p.m. Now, this won't nearly be as destructive as the landfall we saw just yesterday, but still something that needs to be taken seriously for the southeast states. The images and video coming out of Hurricane Ian are absolutely incredible. Some of the worst damage we've ever seen from a hurricane making landfall in the United States, already being called the fourth strongest storm to ever make landfall. And that is saying a lot, being that Florida has been a very popular state to be hit over the years with hurricanes. And now to see a storm of this strength in a semi-quiet hurricane season has really taken a toll on the mental state of what else is to come in this late blooming hurricane season that we've been dealing with. And in some ways, we already have some of those answers. We have Tropical Depression 11 that came off the western coast of Africa, just being labeled today. We can see right now we're at 35 miles per hour, 1,008 millibars. This thing is expected to track towards the United States, possibly get hooked up into the center of the Atlantic Ocean before being an issue, but it's way too early to tell what will control this storm or how close it will get or how strong it'll get. The info we have now, believe it or not, you can see right here this low pressure system actually fizzles out, and it's the one behind it over the next day and a half that actually turns into that hurricane. As you can see right here, moving across the Cape Verde Islands. Take a look at the track of this storm as we move forward in time towards October 9th, 10th. It kind of gets sucked up into the middle of the Atlantic. I know that is a ways away, but the point is that the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean, even though we are past technical peak hurricane season, is still prime real estate for the formation of cyclones. This is pretty crazy. In fact, take a look at what's to come after that. If any of this information stays as it is, we could be looking at one of the strongest hurricanes to ever enter the Caribbean. You're looking at a hurricane in the second week of October. Again, plenty of time for change. I'm just showing you that the Caribbean is absolutely still capable of producing large hurricanes. The GFS is projecting a possible hurricane of 922 millibars. That would be bigger than what we just saw with Ian. 922 millibars would be one of the lowest barometric pressures we've ever seen. In fact, it would be a stronger hurricane than Ian, as Ian hit 925 millibars, give or take, putting it right at that 155 mile an hour range. A 922 would be even closer to a Category 5 than Ian. But for now, the focus is still on hurricane/tropical storm Ian, which is now exiting into that eastern part of Florida, the Atlantic Ocean, once again to possibly then reform and make a left hook into the southeastern states of either Georgia or South Carolina. Later on this afternoon, I'm going to bring you some of the video and webcams of some of the devastation that took place because of Hurricane Ian. A lot of these situations are still in a type of rescue mode. People are still stranded. There's still high water all over western Florida. It will take days, even weeks, possibly even months before some of the power is restored. Nearly 1 million people lost power because of this massive hurricane, and it is pretty safe to say that Hurricane Ian will be a retired name. You'll never see the name Hurricane Ian again unless you're talking about this hurricane in particular, which will go down in history as one of the most devastating storms to ever hit the United States. And now, unfortunately, all we can do is look to the future and keep a close eye on what possibly could be next. Keeping this one short and sweet for you guys. That is the info I have for right now. I will be back later on this this afternoon. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Canada and shout out to Florida. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.